This is Leisha Holmes, and I'm your host of the Recruiters Recruitment podcast, brought to you by Hoxo Media. And I'm delighted to welcome today a guest I've been very excited of bringing on the podcast. To my fellow Women Unleashed, this will be someone that I'm sure you're waiting to listen to. This is Wendy Gannon, who is the founder and director of Qwerk Recruitment. Welcome to you today, Wendy Woo, as your name.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Very
How
well.
are you doing?
So exciting for you to be here. Now, we do share this across our channels on all the podcast stations, but we also share it on YouTube. So for those joining us in visual, Wendy's sporting a beautiful pink jumper, but she's got some very interesting items behind her. I believe she's got Paul Rudd in her room. And is that Darth Vader behind you?
Yes, it is.
Very cool. So this is definitely one to maybe go and watch as well as listen to on the podcast. Well, I know who you are, but for those who aren't yet familiar with your profile, give us an overview of who you are and what your business does.
I am Wendy. I've been doing recruitment for a good number of years now. I put on furlough at the beginning of COVID last year. I had really bad mental health problems, really struggled. Parted ways with that employer at the end of July. Got another job, and then got sacked after 2 months. I don't know. I've never been sacked before. I've made placements, so I got new clients on, I got new terms, but that happened at 11:30 in the morning. And look, I understand why you did it. It's fine. But because I'd achieved more than I thought in that short 2 months, I was like, well, why am I making these other people money? Why am I not just doing it for myself? So literally the same day, I'd signed up to get my business online, got a name, reached out to all my friends, and started Qwerk Recruitment. So we do tech and IT recruitment. Not we yet. And look, we're trying to do things ethically and in the right way, but we'll come to that later, I'm sure.
We will definitely come on to that. And just as to corroborate what Wendy has said, on that day, I do believe you might have dropped a message into the Women Unleashed WhatsApp group, which has been the most incredible community of fellow recruiters, marketeers. I think we've got lawyers in there. There's all sorts of
people. They're fucking amazing.
And it has been, we've got each other's backs more than anything we could have ever expected. I think when Amelia Sordell set that group up, and I remember that day vividly because you were like, oh my God, guys. I think there was possibly the odd F and Jeff. And you just went, and I've never known anyone in all my years in recruitment just go with something. So to watch your journey over the last few months has just been phenomenal. And that's why I wanted you on here today, because I think it's twofold. I think one, for those listening who are possibly thinking about going on their own, how did Wendy do this? Right slap bang in the middle of the pandemic. We'd only just finished lockdown 1. And secondly, it is talking about what you've just said there, the ethical side of running a recruitment business and being a recruiter, especially in your space, IT and tech. I think out of all the sectors, there's probably 2 that have got the worst reputation, mine, Rec to Rec, and IT. So it's our job to try and educate people. So just give us an overview as to, so you were sat there that day thinking, right, that's it. I'm not making money for anybody else. So you went on company's house, you set it up. So how did you then go from that to launching and putting yourself out there?
I have been making friends for 41 years. I literally pulled friends from all over the place. So my wonderful friend Mike does my IT, my friend Dom does my accounts, Toby does my logo. So anybody that you know that does anything, let them help you. Like, people love helping people, especially your friends, especially if you're a good person, you get things like come back to you. So that's what I did. I spoke to Dom. Dom actually did all of the account side. He set it all up for me. Toby did the logo. He's in Australia, so it was literally, I sent it to him as I went to bed, and he did it by the morning. Brilliant.
Great.
And yeah, no, it's just literally, and you guys in Women's Unleashed, honestly, I don't think I would not be here if it wasn't for you. I've been like this, haven't I? And I'm up here now, so long may it continue.
Absolutely. And naturally, we must also do a very, very big reference to mental health in recruitment, which was launched by Rosie, because we're both champions. And I think that, you know, that's possibly a topic we'll come back to another day where we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But I think today specifically what you said there, so, and I think maybe that's reading the room. You know, the vibe out there at the moment, certainly in our industry, is this sense of community. And very often people are, you know, oh, I do know that they do graphics, but I don't want to ask them. But actually, people really do want to help and give something back right now. And for those friends that you've mentioned, you know, we're going to make sure we get the names so we can tag them in this post to say a massive thank you to them. I hope they've not done anything that they shouldn't be doing, you know, moonlighting. But ultimately, they've helped launch it. So we're no longer silos. We're not islands. We're a community of people.
Yeah. And obviously my family have helped massively. I wouldn't be able to financially have survived without help. So I am super, super lucky. I know that a lot of people aren't in a position to be able to do that. But yeah, it's been amazing. I think I posted, he did it over video, sacked me over video, and then I posted on LinkedIn, I'm looking for a job, I've achieved this, and this in the last 2 months. And then I was like, edit that. No, I am going to start my own company. And the feedback from LinkedIn, they've been amazing. So good.
I remember that post because I remember seeing it happen and it said edited and it just went viral, didn't it? You got hundreds and hundreds of people liking, commenting, thousands, tens of thousands of views. Because actually what you were doing in that one action is what thousands of people have probably sat there and thought, I want to do it. So if you think back to your mindset, I know it came from a bit of a, oh my God, what am I going to do? But what if you were to now put that down on paper and give advice to somebody, what steps did you take to ensure that you were mentally ready to do this? Because I think very often, you know, of course, people have got restrictive covenants potentially to look at. And, you know, there's definitely availability of investment from people. You can go, you know, whether it's through family or you actually go to a business investor. I almost want to park that and think about the mindset, because this will then lead us into the ethical side of you running a business. So what did you do to protect your mindset and to make sure you were ready?
So I had a breakdown when I had the call because of, what the fuck am I going to do? And then I spoke to my dad, who's a rock. He's amazing. I spoke to my old boss Ash from years ago when I was doing like high street temps. And I just got some sound advice from people. I went straight in the group and I was like, I've been sacked, fuck's sake, what's going to happen next? And it was just talking to people and being open and being honest. And the amount of people that have reached out have been amazing. So mindset wise, it was, why has this happened? I'm good at what I do. I'm a good person. And then it was like, why has this happened? That's not going to happen again. And it just, can I do this? Surely I can't do this. Yes, I can do this. So I phoned around, and what do I need to do this? Will I have the support to be able to do this? It's, if anyone's looking to go out on their own, it's obviously finance is a big thing. It's whether you can last for 3-6 months with your savings or on your partner's salary or whatever. That's something you really need to think about. If that's all sorted, just do it. Absolutely do it. I mean, I completely recommend getting a coach as well, not just for business but for personal. Big up Kathy Brooke. She's been amazing and massively helped me. I mean, look, I've had therapy, I'm on antidepressants, so I've got loads of friends, but I've always been, I'm all right, I don't need any help. But she's just brilliant. So sound as a soundboard, and I'd always try to keep it business with her, but last time she did a free webinar, I was like, do you know what, I'm going to put something personal down about what I want to achieve, and I did that, and now it's just everything's falling into place and it's great. So be positive, but make sure you do your research and look at the money.
Definitely. I mean, I think that you're right. I always say, because obviously in my position, I get a lot of people coming to me as a rec to set up on their own. And I always say, you need to have at least 6 months where you don't need to earn money externally. So whether that's living through savings, like you say, through a partner, it's really important that you don't put that pressure on yourself, because then, you know, when we come on to this point, you're not then chasing fees, you're not then sort of chasing this dragon that means you're going to compromise yourself. So I think that's really important. I also just want to say that Kathy Brooks, I've recommended. Now, obviously, Shannon, who works with Qwerk Recruitment, she's gone through her coaching. I've recommended it now to a number of business owners and leaders. So it's not just about business mentoring, like you say, it's coaching your life skills. There's so many different elements with the NLP that she uses. So we will tag her. She has been on the podcast in the past, actually. So huge shout out. But actually, you know, it doesn't need to be Kathy. I think it's important to think bigger, and that you need someone externally who's going to be not so subjective to what you've just said your thought process was. It was like you're having this conversation with yourself. Well, how's that happen? I don't understand. And well, I can do it. No, I can't do it. And actually just going, right, take a step back and say, right, what is it I need to do to get me to the next point?
Yeah. And being on Clubhouse recently, I've listened to lots of wellbeing stuff and coaching stuff. And like somebody was saying that they've got 3 or 4 different coaches for different things, and they can like go to it's just, I think it's a really good idea. If you haven't got a coach, get a coach. you might not think you need one, but their like return on investment is going to be amazing.
Yeah, definitely. And then obviously our audience is very, very specifically recruiters, but it doesn't need to be a coach from recruitment. It can be, I mean, you know, Kathy was from performing arts and singing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's all about you taking you and achieving your full potential. So I'm also a huge advocate of that, and it's investing in yourself before you then take a step forward as a business owner. So take us on the journey since you did that, and you had these amazing group of people around, which I do think is testimony to you. So you're not an island. That's the first point I'm taking from this. You need other people to get you to where you need to be. So, you know, thinking about Qwerk as a business, setting yourself apart in a congested market that's already very mature, how do you then establish what your value proposition is? What's your purpose? What are your ethics? What are you known for? And then how do you actually ensure that those are not just empty words?
Exactly, that's the tricky part, right? So I think that I've worked for people, managers, directors, not all of them have done things in a way that I wouldn't necessarily think was ethical. Okay. And look, I'm not saying that this is wrong. I'm just saying that this is how I wouldn't do things. So people are putting up fake jobs, people are fishing for information, like being unsupportive of mental health and diversity. You know, I realised how I didn't want to work, which made me know how I did want to work. So I am bringing ethical recruitment, and I've thought of a little platform that may be able to support this in another little side thing. So we'll come back to that another day. But what it is treating everybody with care and respect. You know, at the beginning of each phone call, I will say to everybody, look, how are you? And I go, yeah, I'm fine. I go, okay, I'm going to ask you how you are again. How are you really? How have you been? What's it been like for you? And not only does it break the ice, but I actually care, because like I was so low during furlough, and these people, candidates and job seekers, because they're 2 different things, you know, especially if they're a job seeker, need some support. I might be the only person they talk to in a day, and if I'm saying yeah, this is brilliant, I've got this and this and this, and then I don't hear from you again, that's fucking heartbreaking. It's not okay. So brilliantly, there's loads of things that are automated now. So LinkedIn jobs, if somebody's not right, you know, you've got to ask this question. If not, then they'll get an automatic reply. That's fine, as long as they get a reply and they understand why they haven't gone through. Okay, I'm not saying you have to physically speak to every person, because that's just not achievable. But if you do speak to somebody, you need to be honest and transparent about exactly what you're going to do, and then you need to exactly do that, and then you need to tell them afterwards that you've exactly done that. And like, Fridays are a busy day for me, because I'm just catching up with everybody saying this hasn't happened yet, or yes, they want to interview you, brilliant, you've got an offer. But if it's just they haven't had time to look at your CV yet, they're extremely busy, then that might be that, you know. It's not rocket science. We just need to be good people. We need to be respectful and caring and loving to people who are going through shit. Basically.
I'm going to bring in here a very famous quote from Greg Savage. He often shares this on LinkedIn. Telling a candidate there's no news is still news.
Yeah, exactly.
It's mind-blowingly simple, isn't it? Just communicate, set an expectation, and do what you say you're going to do. I mean, we hear so many times, don't we, that, you know, recruiters set these, oh, I'm going to get you 3 CVs by 12 o'clock, or I'm going to get you 3 interviews by 12 o'clock. Why are you doing that to yourself? Just, this is what I'm going to do. This is what will happen. When I've got some news, I will feed back to you, but feel free to connect to me. And, you know, with these things, there's no excuse to not actually WhatsApp update somebody, Snapchat, whichever way we can communicate. So everything that you've said there shows the human side of why you're setting yourself apart in your market. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not difficult. I don't want to put a fake job up and like just to get CVs. I don't need to do that. Nobody needs to do that. If you know how to do recruitment and you know how to do your job properly, there's absolutely no need.
Why waste your time with fake stuff?
Yeah,
real stuff out there.
Exactly. And so I've got I'm doing a clubhouse on Thursday, little plug. I don't know if this is going to go out by then. About I'd like people to come and share their stories on recruiters and the recruitment process. How shit has it been? How have you felt? Because I don't think I can practice ethically unless I know what not to do, as I said earlier. So I think people sharing those stories is going to be really important. And shame on you recruiters that do that.
Love that. We'll have to do a little soundbite of that. We'll freeze you on that little part there.
I don't mean, like, do what you need to do to make money. Just try and be thoughtful to other people in the process.
I do think that, you know, obviously, I am saying this as a rhetoric, I think because a lot of people listening to this may have been furloughed like yourself last year, may have found themselves redundant at the end of when furlough changed in October. You might now have more compassion for your job seekers and candidates because you've actually gone through it yourself. And if I think back to the recession in 2009, that's exactly what happened in 2010, that recruiters, because they had gone through that, some of them, certainly more senior recruiters, more expensive hires, and it changed the culture. And the reality is, in a couple of years' time, when we're kind of back to whatever normal looks like, that level of compassion may have diminished because people are more transactional again. But actually, what I think where we're at right now, I hope not, but where we're at right now, I think that to differentiate yourself, all you need to do is share your vulnerability. I love that that's what you ask somebody. No, come on, you're saying, yeah, you're fine. Really, how are you? Really, and the conversations we can have now, because everybody's at home. You know, you might be speaking to one of your tech directors, CFO, CTO, whatever, and his kid runs in, you know, he's trying to homeschool somebody. This is your best opportunity as a recruitment leader or a recruiter, whichever you are, to actually have real conversations with people. How are you coping?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a business of relationships. We are relationship building. That's what we're all about, right? That's how we get business. That's how candidates come back to us and then they turn into clients, etc., etc. So just be a good person. I think in the long run, I mean, the people that are coming to me with business now, it's all been inbound business, which is amazing, are people that I've spoken to with respect previously, and they've remembered that. It's really important.
So going back to what we were saying at the start about how you differentiate yourself based on your ethics, we could say all these things but not follow through. But by actually ensuring that all you've done is said you're going to update them by the Friday, and you've done that, even if you didn't place them at that time, they've remembered when they've then gone on to get a job and they've become a client then. So actually, ethics is the. I always think is it integrity, doing the right thing even when no one's watching.
Like you received today and I received last week, the nicest recommendations from people that we haven't placed.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's about. That I'm not going to make any money from these people. Well, I may in the future because now they're going to hire me because they know I work in the correct way. But it's just so lovely to receive something like that. It just makes it all worthwhile.
I think, you know, if I think back to how recruitment has changed, certainly over the last decade or so, where we've gone, you know, we have become a digitalized sector, but we're still human beings moving, you know, it's career, it's where you spend most of your waking hours in your job. And actually not forgetting that and sort of keeping that person to person element and using technology. You've said there, you know, you can digitalize and make it automated. You know, if you've not hit these 3 tick boxes, you're not going to be right, but thank you so much for your application. But and then people even in that, people are not going to forget that level of communication. But to actually set yourself apart is just by being, I guess, open, honest, transparent, and dare I say it, not driven by money, because of what you've just said there. You know, you're not driven by the money. It's actually taking somebody on that career path.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. I think the last role that I worked at was very, very money driven, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But I'm of an age where that's not necessarily what I want to base my life on. I've got my family, I've got my friends, I'm happy. But I'd much rather help somebody than get a couple of grand.
So I'll be interested. I mean, when we share this, your Clubhouse will have been and gone, I'm afraid, because we do record these.
Right, I'm going to do them weekly at 3 p.m. on a Thursday.
Weekly one. So make sure if you're on, if you've had an invite and you're on Clubhouse, make sure you're following. Are you Wendy Gannon or just Wendy Gannon?
It's Wendy Gannon, but at Qwerk.
At Qwerk.
QWRK.
So we'll make sure that people can see that on there. I'll be interested to see whether or not, as recruitment owners, people in their interview process will understand more around people's motivations other than money. Because if I think about, again, as you know, I obviously partner recruitment business owners, and you know, up until maybe even only the last year, if somebody had answered in an interview what you're driven by, and they'd gone, because I want to help people, which is what you've just said, a lot of companies, I would say a majority, would have gone, they're not right, go and work in the job
exactly center. That. And I've always known that I need to say that I'm money driven. I'm not stupid. But I've never been money driven.
If you do your job properly, you will get rewarded. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you and I both, you know, have got mortgage to pay, got mouths to feed. You know, I can't survive on thin air or love alone, sadly.
I like holidays. I like nice things.
We've just said, you know, you're going to, as soon as you can, you're going to be booking. She's going to be going away every week, guys, on a different holiday somewhere else. So watch this. But on a serious note, we need money. Of course, we're a sales business. At the end of the day, we're running, you know, proper, real bona fide businesses where we need to make sales and profit. So this is not about being, you know, some kind of altruistic, we don't need to earn money. This isn't about that. This is saying that if your secondary sort of cause by doing a great job is that you earn the fee that you're entitled to, that's competitive. But actually, maybe we'll see a whole different shift in people that are introduced to the sector.
And I think I've completely lost what I was going to say.
Don't worry. It's because we're just talking about such beautiful, imaginative.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. I hope so. I hope that everybody who's watching this doesn't hate me because I said that you shouldn't want money. But no, you should. That's absolutely fine. It's
not a thing to do the
like
job.
You wouldn't want to be treated. It's that old thing, because sticks and stones do, words do hurt, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And stop being transactional about it. Stop thinking about this candidate as a deal or a fee. Start to think about, I'm going to get this person. Even if you're doing temp labour recruitment, it doesn't matter. That's still somebody's actual day that you're putting them into. So I think I think it will make people really stop and think.
Yeah, I might make money slower, but I'll make the money in the long run, you know.
And you'll be here at the end. That's the thing. So as we record this, January 2021, what does 2021 have in store for Qwerk and for Wendy Gannon?
So 2021 is going to need some rec to recs.
Know any?
Yes. You don't do my area, do you?
We'll talk offline, guys. Okay. That's very exciting.
Yeah, so I've got so much work, and I'd love to share my passion and be an inspiration for somebody to come on and do the same thing as me. I'm already talking to people about making sure that you get training from the beginning and put that in the budget. Yes, Kathy. And making sure, I spoke to April, who's amazing, earlier on today, about diversity and inclusion, because while I'm working on the gender side of things and making sure that the wordings in the job specs are open to everybody, it was also making sure that people of colour and different religions were able to relate to those job posts and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know everything. I've got a lot to learn, but it really interests me. And I think that we should be talking about it and having those conversations, definitely. And the mental health support, 100%.
But That's what I love about it, that actually you're not going to try and claim to be an expert in all of these things, but you're going to bring people in who do know what they're talking about, and that's
Exactly.
what it's all about, Wendy. So
Yeah,
you
I
can
can't train people. I've tried training people before, and I'm awful at it. I get short-tempered. I'm like, why can't you do it yet?
You're talking to the world's worst homeschool teacher who has suspended this morning, or this afternoon, I should say. It's been really, really wonderful to watch your journey so far, and I, for one, can't wait to see what 2021 and beyond has in store for Qwerk, because I just think if we have more recruitment leaders like you, Wendy, the recruitment industry will be a much better place, and definitely a happier place. I knew this would be upbeat podcast for everyone to join in on, and thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute delight. You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye.